Hey, Mothla. There's a lot of fucking snow outside. I went to go walk around a little bit, and the snow was like deeper than my boots, and it was gonna soak my pants if I went to go walk anywhere. Oh. I don't have anywhere to be tomorrow, though. All my classes got canceled or put remote, so that's nice. Hey, Atronema, Obesis, DVD Albs, Bob Top, Juma Pig, and Julie Matos. What do you mean beta available? Yes, so in my Discord server, which I will show you guys right now. Let's see. There is currently in the TerraCells channel, which I just made, in the pinned messages, you can find a GitHub linked here. And here you can get the currently available public build for TerraCells. Now, this is, an unfinished release. This is our first version that we're making open to the public. It's not finished. There are only a handful of bosses. There's a lot of content that's still unfinished or unimplemented. But if you'd like to see how the mod development is going and what it's like, you can find the download there, and you can play it yourself. You need to put it in your documents folder. Documents, My Games, Terraria, Tmod Loader, mods. You put it in there, and then you activate it. You activate it here. You need TerraCells, and then you also need, not Dragon Lens. That's for building. Structure Helper. That is a dependency. Is this mod halal? No, you can eat hot dogs in it. And burgers. But yeah, so I will show you guys what this is like, give you an idea of what it's like if you want to go play it yourself. I will make a thing here. Hey, aluminum. It's not kosher either, like the pickle. You see the announcement like a year ago? Yeah, I mean, it takes a little while because a lot of the people working on the mod is just, volunteer. And there's a lot of development to do. But once you have the mod enabled, you come here, hit new to generate a new world. You assume it's just like Dead Cells. It's similar. It's a roguelike mod. Go to this one here, and we'll get going. Unpaid labor. It's not unpaid labor. I am paying the people to develop the mod, but I'm not paying them that much money. It's like a few dozen, maybe $100 each. It's not like they're not making like the amount of money they would be making at a job. Yeah, so upon loading in, you'll have access to the guide here. He'll give you a bit of a tutorial. I would strongly suggest, if you're going to play this mod, that you talk to the guide and listen to what he has to say, because there's a lot of stuff in the mod that is only explained through the guide, and if you don't listen to him, it'll be kind of confusing. So obviously you have pylons. Those function similarly to the teleporters in Dead Cells to bring you back to other places. What is the dynamite doing? That is a permanent unlock. If you find your way down there and pick up that dynamite, you will, 1, immediately get the dynamite, and 2, gain access to that dynamite appearing in future runs. Yeah, you can teleport between pylons. Your inventory, you have 5 main slots and then 4 backup slots. This is a sell button. If you put an item in here, it sells it. I'd recommend you don't do that for your starting potions. But you have your 2 weapon slots, 2 skill slots. These are things that you can use on a cooldown, like potions or grenades or stuff like that. And then inventory for storing whatever you want. And then, of course, you have armor and 2 accessory slots. Gold chests have weapons in them. Melee weapons, if you hit enemies, have kind of a rallying thing to recover lost HP. This is because it's a lot harder to get close to enemies without taking damage, so to offset that, you get some HP back if you hit enemies with melee weapons. With bows, if you right-click, you can go ahead and charge them up and fire a charge shot. This will deal a critical hit and has some kind of extra effect usually. With the wooden bow, it lights the arrow on fire. With other bows, it does other stuff. Mana. Anytime you hit an enemy with a magic attack, they will drop a mana star. And the amount of mana that a weapon consumes kind of correlates with how strong it is. So a weapon like the Staff of the Earth or the Inferno Fork that has these giant powerful effects, those are going to consume a lot of mana. 50 mana, 60 mana. I think that Staff of the Earth is like 100 mana. And you only have 200 mana. But then there are magic weapons that consume less mana, like the laser rifle, and they consume like 3 mana and generate 10 mana, right? So you kind of balance between having a weapon with a big mana payoff and then having a faster weapon to recover mana. And then there are other ways of recovering mana too. There's an accessory that lets you recover mana when you hit enemies with melee attacks. There's an accessory that lets you recover mana when you take damage, so you can kind of translate getting hit to recover your mana. A lot of stuff like that. And then those 2 slots there, those are for skills. Last slot is healing potions. You can use life crystals in the world to raise your maximum mana. And then there are also pressure plates throughout the world. Yeah, and mana management is important because your mana does not regenerate quickly. It does regenerate, but it doesn't regenerate quickly. Oh yeah, and there's a little timer up here. If you complete levels quickly, there will be an extra chest similar to the timed rooms in Dead Cells. To get a bunch of treasure. It gives you some max HP, it gives you some money, and it gives you a weapon tiered to the next area. So you don't lose out on that much by not fully looting the stage before it, because you get a bunch of stuff to try to help you keep pace and not get outscaled, right? And enemies themselves have indicators for when they're dealing damage. Most of them will have a little exclamation mark similar to Dead Cells to say, I'm about to attack. And they'll glow red when they deal damage to you. Most of the time, the enemy isn't going to deal damage to you, so you're not going to just walk into a goblin and it hurts you. The goblin's only going to hurt you when it's doing an attack. That makes it a lot more reasonable to use close-range weapons and makes it a lot more of paying attention to what they're doing. And yeah, obviously, the further you go, the stronger enemies get. And if you're in multiplayer, multiplayer is supported. If a player dies, if the rest of the players, at least one player, gets to the end of the level, they'll respawn at the in-between levels. And the guide also has a little unlock sheet here that shows you all the weapons you've discovered, or if they're locked, like the bouncy dynamite is right now, whether or not you've unlocked them. So, let's get started. Now, I know all of these maps very, very well. I basically put together all of them. So here are goblins. You can see he kind of has a little pop-up above him, and then he glows red when he dashes at us, and we can kind of jump over his head or run away from him when he's doing that. If we try to just stay above him, he does have a jump attack. There's a wolf coming in as well. And he follows a similar rule. Now, most of them can't really, at least these guys, can't really go vertically that well. They kind of can. Now, one of the problems is we're at the very start of the game, and our starting weapons are not very good. This bow, it's fine, but we could get something a lot better. How much of the mod is complete as of now? We have maybe 6 or 7 levels. I would say 4 of those levels are good, and then 3 of those levels are kind of a work in progress. The enemies, a lot of them are still, you know, in the process of getting finished. In the forest here, most of these goblins are pretty much done. There are a couple other enemies. Here's a pulse bow. If we charge up the pulse bow, it gets its pulse ricocheting effect. The wolf is still, you know, a little bit rough around the edges. We're still working on him. And these ravens, we were going to implement a different AI for. Right now, they just kind of have a sped up version of their regular AI. There we go. We got a toxic flask as our skill. If we press, I have it bound to a particular button here. You can set the keybind in controls, which is here. I have it bound to just my mouse buttons. If I press that button, it will immediately use the skill, then go back to my regular weapon. So I can just quickly press a button, throw out my toxic flask, and then wait for it to come off cooldown and then do it again. Yeah, you can see my health bar when I'm taking damage is kind of gradually going down. That's the melee rallying system. If I hit an enemy while I have that flashing HP there, like with this katana, I will get that health back. Yeah, and one of the things that we implemented very recently that I'm very happy about is a sell button here. It used to be a really big problem with your inventory getting cluttered up by picking stuff up, but if you just go ahead and drop an item in here, it immediately gets sold and you get the monetary value of it. So you don't have to sit there and hold stuff that you don't want in your inventory so you can sell it at a merchant later. You can just sell it from your inventory. Speaking of a merchant, this is the merchant himself. He sells skills and armor. And each of these armors has a different effect. Gold armor makes it so enemies drop money when they get hit. It synergizes very well with the Toxic Flask. The Jungle Shirt makes it so that when you pick up Mana Stars, it reduces your skill cooldowns. Necro Greaves makes it so that the last bullet in your magazine, guns have magazines, deals extra damage. We could buy skills like the Wrath Potion to increase our damage by 25% for 20 seconds, the Clinger Staff. But right now, we're broke as shit, and we cannot afford any of this, so we're gonna head back. Yeah, the reason we're releasing it now is because 1.4.5 is coming out on Tuesday, and, you know, be nice to get it out before then. Here's our first magic weapon, Book of Skulls. It uses 40 mana. Is it out now on Tmod? It's out now on my Discord server. It's not available on the Steam Workshop, but there is a GitHub link in my Discord server, and you can get the download there. Again, it's not finished. That's why it's not publicly available. It's not an official full release. But there's enough done that I'm comfortable putting it out in a beta release, right? Are there plans to replace the exclamation mark with a more natural attack indicator? I wouldn't say there are plans to. It's something we could do, but I don't think it's something we really thought that hard about. Mom, can we have 1.4.5, the Dead Cells crossover? Honey, we have 1.4.5 at home. The 1.4.5 at home. Is the music right now random background music? Is that from the mod? That's from the mod. Yeah, each one of the levels has its own soundtrack. Suck at platforming. There we go. Alright, Emerald Staff. So what we could do here, the Emerald Staff uses 8 mana and generates 10 per hit. It's a bit mana positive, but not that mana positive. But the Book of Skulls is pretty damn strong. Our Emerald Staff also... Sometimes birds do that, and honestly, I have no fucking clue why. I have no idea why they do that sometimes. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's not... We didn't change their AI. We didn't give birds custom AI. We just took their regular vanilla AI and sped it up. Does this have any sort of multiplayer support? Yes. Yes. Multiplayer is... He doesn't want to be here anymore. Okay, I can't say I play him. Oh yeah, the Magic Power Potion, another one of our skills. If you drink this potion, which you can do with just Quick Buff as well, it reduces your mana cost to 0 for 10 seconds. I thought it was 5 seconds. Damn, 10 seconds. That's crazy. So you can just spam these spells to your heart's content once every 100 seconds. Is there still fall damage? No, fall damage was something we got rid of very quickly. The map looks beautiful. Oh yeah. And there are a lot of secrets hidden throughout the map. For instance, the obvious one. At the beginning of the game, there's a bouncy dynamite hidden down here below the guide's cabin. If you get that bouncy dynamite, you get the bouncy dynamite item and unlock it to show up in all future runs. But I'm not going to tell you how to do that. You'll have to figure that one out yourself. Who built the map? A lot of different people. The building team probably consists of like a dozen different people, contributing different levels of varying amounts, and different people worked on different levels. So right now, there's not much to do at this in-between, but that's where players would respawn if they had died, and if we unlock certain things in the world, there does get to be more stuff there. So now we get level 2 weapons instead of level 1 weapons. They have more damage, and the Platinum Bow is just a straightforward bow. It doesn't have any special effects, but it does deal a lot of damage. Charge attacks critical hits, so as long as we pay attention, we can dish out a lot of damage with it. Yeah, so the forest was built largely by, let's see, I think Venus built a lot of the forest levels. Xenophyte built several of them, like the big windmill. That was those Xenophytes, I believe. I'm blanking on if anyone else had largely contributed to the forest. That pot doesn't break. Huh. Alright then. Are the areas the same in different runs, or are they random generation? They're generated like Risk of Rain maps. So there are multiple layouts that can be chosen. And a given layout will be the same, regardless of the run. But there are like, you know, 3 or 4 different forest variants. There are 2 crimson variants. And that's just, you know, what we put together right now. Plan to do more. The new monster AI is cool. Yeah, I think it is really cool. So we can get our magic power potion out and get ready to spam our Book of Skulls again. You'll also notice that, especially as you get higher tier weapons, your weapons start to get modifiers. These can be simple things like bonus damage. They can be things like bonus damage, increased mana cost. They can be things like do increased damage to enemies that have been inflicted with poison. Or enemies that... or like for a ranged weapon, it could be that the weapon fires exploding bullets or piercing bullets or stuff like that. Or the weapon can inflict a debuff. There are a lot of just... small effects like that, with the idea being that they can be built synergistically with other stuff in a way that kind of emerges, right? If I got a weapon that dealt bonus poison damage, well, my Emerald Staff inflicts poison. It's possible I could get a Platinum Bow that inflicted poison. Is it crazy to say that this reminds you of Hell from Doom? I mean, it's very fleshy. Come on. You don't play Terraria much, but the dripplers look like cacodemons. Yeah, so there's the knockback from melee weapons. Other weapons do not deal knockback. Melee weapons are the only weapons that can deal knockback. Oh, our Toxic Flask inflicts poison too. So if we had something that dealt bonus damage to poisoned enemies, the Toxic Flask would benefit it too. Corruption chests have skills in them. I suck at platforming. It's another Toxic Flask, but this one's a higher level, so it does more damage. Who made the mod? A lot of different people. You know, I put together... So, I put together all of the levels. I didn't build all of the rooms, but I took all of the rooms individually. Each one of these rooms... Like, the builders didn't make this giant thing itself. They built, like, this is one room. This is one room. This is one room. This is one room. I took all those rooms and blended them together and made them flow into a large level itself. And a katana is very good against spiders. Damn, those Japanese know how to fight spiders. And now we make it to our first boss. And because we have a magic power potion, we can just spam the shit out of our Book of Skulls. No limits. Yeah, you want to make Mage good? Give him this ability. Are you taking notes, Relogic? And now that we've killed the Brand of Cthulhu, we've unlocked a double jump. And that double jump is something we permanently unlock. Everything for the rest of the game, not just this playthrough, every playthrough in the future will have that double jump unlocked. What are the green things on the map? Oh, those are eyeballs. Like those there. Those are little eyes built in the Crimson. Okay, and now we have a choice. We could go to the desert, or we could go to the factory. And I put together the factory pretty recently. I'll show you guys what that's like, because I think it's really cool. So there's another example of an unlockable item hidden away. It's all very mechanical themed. And basically the entire level has these looping either platforms or mechanical machinery that's kind of synchronized to the background music. Now, the enemies here, we didn't put enough time to do all the intended factory enemies. Also, my katana is like level 1, so it's pretty bad for level 3 with no buffs. So these are just enemies taken from other levels. These mummies are, supposed to be in the pyramid, but they're here as a placeholder enemy. They will send a shockwave on one side of them, so as long as we're on the other side of them and pay attention when they're going to attack, we're perfectly safe. The Gladius. This one inflicts crits to enemies that are poisoned or bleeding. Unfortunately, this is not a very good enemy to be trying to hit at point blank range. Oh yeah, this guy. I love this guy. So this is our bathroom. There's a cultist archer in here. He doesn't like you trying to get over the door. Gladius' state is stiletto. Pretty much, yeah. Is this a modded map? This is just a mod. It's... Damn, Ghoul's got jumps. There's a... Shit! Okay, there was a sniper there. Yeah, sniper, he's got a sniper rifle. That's kind of scary. His second boss down, yeah. So he's poisoned now, so our Gladius does very, very high damage. And yeah, as a reminder, this isn't finished. So what you're seeing here, it's not gonna... it's not going to have a particularly satisfying conclusion. Because, there's not some greater boss at the end of it to, like, cap out your run. No! No, I didn't make a way back! Fuck! The map design, I failed! The lever mechanism. It's okay, this is why we have pylons. Will I be adding another type of secondaries, shields, or just weapons like the Brand of the Inferno? You mean like a parry type thing? We might. We have maybe like 15 weapons at the moment and maybe like 8 or 9 skills, which is not that many, and we do plan to add a lot more. It's just, you know, you have to find things that make sense. Okay, finally we get our first gun, so I can show you guys what guns are like. So, you can see on the right there, we have an ammo counter. So, we have 4 shots in our Onyx Blaster, it's a shotgun. It's got a slow rate of fire, and we need to reload it. We can fire up to 4 shots, and we can reload them, you know, whenever we want. But we can't just keep shooting endlessly. We kind of have to have a period where we can't attack anymore. It also inflicts poison. Nice. There we go. You can reload them. You saw your Onyx Blaster hit 0 shots and thought that was it. You need to reload your gun, yeah. Okay. Off to the hive now. I think I'd rather have the Sawtooth Shark than the Gladius. Yeah, so that Hornet's got a shotgun. But we've got a shotgun too. Is the reload the same for all guns? I mean, they have different ammo counts. Here's a Phoenix Blaster, right? Phoenix Blaster has 15 bullets, and the Phoenix Blaster's special ability is that the last 5 bullets in the magazine will crit. That's to kind of encourage you to use out the magazine instead of just, you know, reloading after a couple shots. And the Phoenix Blaster is a different reload animation. You can see the Onyx Blaster, you just kind of load in 1 shell at a time. The Phoenix Blaster, you put in a new magazine. We don't talk about anything in the trailer. I don't want to talk about 1.4.5. Yeah, I haven't watched the trailer. I didn't want to know what's in it. Also, these maps, I haven't been paying that much. Well, I built these maps, so I know where every secret is. And in this map, there were a lot of... In a lot of the maps, there were a lot of them. One such secret is... You can see right there, there's a little pressure plate. If you shoot that pressure plate, there's a little secret sound effect that plays, and it spawns a couple hearts for you. It's a great trailer. That sounds great, but I do want to, you know... I enjoy not watching trailers and just being able to experience the game. There's a lot of little stuff like that hidden throughout the map, so it's very rewarding to look for. Sometimes you might find ways to unlock new items. Sometimes there'll be hearts like that. Sometimes there'll be entirely new secrets. In fact, there is one level that has a secret pathway that leads to a completely different level that is not accessible through anywhere else. Now, the level is like that because it's not completely finished to the same level as the other ones. But there is one secret in one of the levels that will take you to somewhere, an entire map with enemies that is not discoverable anywhere else. Is that a Goblin Sorcerer teleport into the floor? Yeah, teleport AI logic is kind of hard. We've been working on it over time. And, alright, I guess that guy was kind of chill with me shooting him. This one is a Swiftness Potion. Right now, we don't have a Magic Weapon, so I'm going to keep my Magic Power Potion away, but I am going to keep my Magic Power Potion on me. Because if we get a Magic Weapon later, I mean, 10 seconds of free spells is pretty damn good. Can enemies spawn behind safe walls? All these enemies have set spawn locations. The boss of the hive, of course, is Queen Bee and her friends with shotguns. I'm going to drink my Swiftness Potion because I think that would help out a lot. She kind of goes through these periods of getting stunned there. Firing these, and pay more attention to her. Once she gets to, I believe, half HP, Queen Bee pulls out her rocket launcher and starts firing fucking bazookas full of bees at you. And that's Queen Bee. Killing her, unlock the Hornet Staff. Now we can get the summoning item as a skill to summon hornets. Alright. In the next level, yet again, we have the caverns. And there's wizards out of the caverns, man. There are wizards, there are granite elementals. There are a lot of wizards. I was letting myself die there, because I think it'd be fun to restart. But when you die, your world gets deleted, your character stays, and you can try again. And everything that you unlocked will remain unlocked, and you can see it in this playthrough. So, we can see the things that we've unlocked or the bosses we've defeated here. We can see we unlocked the Hornet Staff here, so now we can see it in future runs. Hey, Tubbsy. We found the Toxic Flask. We can see what each of the items we found does. And, yeah. Upcoming areas random, but do they have continuous themes? They have continuous themes. We have a Gladius again. This one from the start of the game. Now, because it's a rapid-hitting weapon, one, we can use it to destroy these with varying levels of consistency. So let's see if we can get a, one of the items we just unlocked. Show what I was talking about. Am I the mod dev? I am one of the developers, yeah. I'm not really much of a coder. I'm more of, organizing the project and assembling the levels. The head coder would be Stardust, and then there are a lot of other members of the development team who are, you know, in and out of things, with varying levels of commitment and impact on stuff. Now we've got music. Hello. So here's one example. There's a yellow pressure plate there. If we lead a regular enemy onto that yellow pressure plate, it needs... The guide told us about this, like that. It unlocks this secret down here, and we can drop down to this little castle. And there's a little puzzle here, but I'll let you guys figure that one out. We can get a piece of armor. The gold helmet. This gives us bonus damage and makes it so that enemies drop money on hit. It pairs pretty well with the Gladius because it attacks quite frequently. You can see how much cash we're getting. The Toxic Flask also hits really frequently, so it's really good with that. You'd love a fight like the Giant. Yeah, right now we don't have that many bosses. A lot of what we've been working on is just getting the overarching systems to make all this work. And a couple bosses, of course. But we only have so much time and so many people. Okay, we have another Book of Skulls with the magic power potion. I'll give you a small piece of development sneak peek. I have a sneaking suspicion that the Book of Skulls with magic power potion is going to get nerfed. Because this is kind of ridiculous. Okay, if we can get to this portal within 5 seconds. No, we're going to be just too late. 3 minutes is the cutoff for getting the shadow chest for extra loot. Okay, let's head to the right of spawn. Actually, no, we can go to the corruption. I think the magic power potion probably should get nerfed down to like 5 seconds or something. So this is the corruption. This is one of the levels that's less fleshed out. The enemies in it are a little bit buggier. But we've got worms. These work like Risk of Rain returns. Ooh, shark. The shark, the natural predator of the worm. Also goes crazy with gold helmet, so. You might recognize this building from, which multiplayer world was it? I used this for one of them. Yeah, this is, a song made for the mod by, what, Elise? It's quite nice. We got ninja pants, which give us 15% increased movement speed. Very nice. If we can manage to collect a full armor set, we can actually get a special bonus. Just like Terraria. Getting so much money from these guys. Is contact damage nerfed? So it's not that contact damage is nerfed, it's that we have a rallying mechanic. So that when we take contact damage, we are able to get the HP back quite quickly. As long as we deal melee damage shortly after taking damage. Which is fairly strong. It'll probably get, you know, tuned around at some point. But yeah, you can see the worms show where they're going to emerge from, and then gradually dig out, and you can hit them as they emerge. Not always the most consistent with where they decide to show up, but the Sawtooth Shark really shreds them to pieces. And of course, that's just the surface of the corruption. Once you get down to the corruption proper, this is Worm City. And in Worm City, the Eater is king. And the Eater of King is nothing compared to a Sawtooth Shark. Yeah, we're still, we're still working on the Eater of Worlds boss fight. That one's a work in progress. He doesn't play the nicest with piercing attacks. They kind of, it's hard to have a balance of piercing attacks with worm enemies. He's also moving at hyperspeed for some reason. I don't think he's supposed to move this fast, but whatever. Go to healing potions and move on to the desert. What happened? Piercing weapons happened, man. Oh, spawned a bit low there. We've got our vultures who fly up in the air and shoot bone projectiles at us. Pay attention to him here. You shoot little bones at us. Now, I don't actually have a good way of dealing with this vulture. I got rid of most of my ranged weapons. I do have my Book of Skulls, but my mana is quite limited, so these guys are actually fairly dangerous. Thankfully, Book of Skulls is cracked as hell. This is a Book of Skulls 1. Is this a mod? Yeah, this is a mod. This is the nurse. We can spend money to heal max HP. And now we've got a Book of Skulls 3. And it deals damage, bonus damage versus poison. Alright, if we can get something that inflicts poison, this is going to be ridiculous. You can access the mod. Yeah. If you want to play the mod yourself, this is just demoing what we've made. If you want to play the mod yourself, you can find it in the TerraCells channel of my Discord server. You never seen a mod reduce the inventory slots for? Yeah, it's because it's hard to do. Terraria's inventory system is not easy to work with. We can enter the pyramid. The music kicks in, slightly more intense. And now we have the mummies. I mean, we already saw them. They have their... This is where they're meant to be. We've got blazing wheels and a bunch of environmental traps here. And hazards. We've got a ruby staff. Doesn't inflict poison, but it does do fire. It's the fire equivalent of the emerald staff. Got a wrath potion to increase our damage. Oh, this Book of Skulls. If we can find a way to do poison, this Book of Skulls is going to be ridiculous. That's a little shortcut back. Yeah, we've got ghouls who do a little dash attack at you. Now, unfortunately, blazing wheels are a little bit buggy. As you might notice by that one just sitting in the corner spinning there. They're not supposed to be behaving exactly like this, but trying to get these things to cooperate is a nightmare. I mean, they're buggy enough in regular Terraria. Oh, hi, Merchant. Oh, we can get the full ninja armor set. And with this, the chest piece gives us the ability to dash, and the headpiece gives us bonus damage, and the set bonus gives us immunity for a short period of time after hitting an enemy. It's basically the holy protection buff from hollowed armor. If we got Molten Greaves, that would leave fire behind us. Damn, okay, I guess we scaled the price of skills. This is kind of ridiculously expensive from the merchant here. I don't think it's supposed to be that expensive. But yeah, so now we can double tap to dash. And yeah, you can see we have a little holy protection buff. It tells us when we dodge the attack. I didn't tell him to do that one. Are mana potions available? No. We do want to put in a skill that is just a mana potion that recovers mana, but the way you recover mana is by hitting enemies. You'll notice when I hit an enemy, they drop a mana star. And the idea is there are fast, rapid hitting melee weapon or magic weapons that do damage very quickly, and then there are slower ones that do damage more slowly. And the slower ones, or not even more slowly, it's they cost more mana. So at this point, if we head down here, this is a path to the jungle, and the jungle is not implemented. However, there is another way forward here. You might have seen that there was a topaz gem lock here. If you can bring that large topaz to here and find out how to do it, you can move on to the next level. But as is, we can get to the end of the level, which is the end of this pathway, unless we can find another way forward, and we can end our run here. You have to double click it to make sure, just so you don't accidentally get rid of your character. Now, does this wipe my inventory? Okay, it does wipe my inventory, yeah. I think, I mean, this is just going to be a short stream showing off what we've done here and letting you guys know that you can play it. I think I will do one more thing before we close out here. You also might have noticed that these forest maps are different each time. There are a lot of different variants of the forest. They're not always going to be different, but they're laid out in a lot of different ways. Hey, Jim Steffers. Are we implementing Curse as a mechanic? Probably not. Maybe, but probably not. Hey, there we go. The laser rifle is incredibly fun. So previously, we had only really been getting the Book of Skulls as our magic weapon. But that's a high damage, high mana cost weapon. The laser rifle is a low damage, low mana cost weapon. And this thing just fucking, like, vomits out mana stars. You cannot stop generating mana stars with this thing. It costs 3 mana, it attacks super quickly, it generates 10. This is how you make mage good, Relogic. The Ale Tosser. You can throw this to coat enemies in oil. This is the oil debuff from Terraria. And it does what you'd think. It increases how much damage they take from fire debuffs. And if you happen to get the volcano item, if you attack an oiled enemy with the volcano, it makes them explode, and you get the whole volcano, like, explosion effect. Jungle Shirt makes us that when we pick up mana stars, that reduces our ability cooldowns, right? And we generate a lot of mana stars, so we can go get whatever this skill is, and depending on what it is, we could really shorten our cooldowns. Okay. We get a Wrath Potion, and because of how quickly it's going to come off cooldown because we have the Jungle Shirt, we can probably just spam this Wrath Potion all the time. Let's see. Yeah, the cooldown's getting lowered quite a lot. I will show you guys one other thing. And that is a very, very important secret hidden in the forest. And that is, of course, your weapon has modifiers. And it's very important to be able to reforge those modifiers, to try to get something that plays well with your build. And that is where this little well comes in, where you can find the Goblin Tinkerer. And come on. Come on, 8 seconds. I think we make it this time. I think we make it. It's gonna be close. And now, every run thereafter, the Goblin Tinkerer will show up in the in-between. You can talk to him here, and he does 2 things. The first is he lets you spend money to reforge your weapons. Here, we get bonus damage to enemies that are on fire. Okay? We could take our pulse bow. Bonus damage versus poisoned. Bonus damage versus on fire. 15% damage. You'll notice sometimes nothing is coming out. That's because it's a low tier weapon. The tier of the weapon determines how many modifiers it can have, and 0 is a possibility for a low tier weapon. And he also sells accessories. And these are equivalent to the mutations in Dead Cells. They provide a ton of different effects. You have to pay money for them. You can equip 2 at a time. And some things they do. Health potions restore twice as much HP. Skills do 50% more damage. Your poison effects get upgraded to the more powerful venom. Dealing a critical hit reduces your skill cooldowns. Killing an enemy gives you a speed buff. Killing an enemy gives you back HP. If you would die, you survive instead. So this is basically a guaranteed shield from death 1 time. As soon as you die, it gets consumed and it's no longer available. Knockback immunity and reduced damage taken. Bonus damage if you're attacking enemies with high HP. It's like a crowbar and Risk of Rain. Huge melee attack speed buff. Melee attacks restore mana. Taking damage increases your damage dealt. Bonus damage if you're not near enemies. Your weapons become coated in chlorophyte. I don't think it's supposed to be in here yet. It's supposed to be an unlock. But I think we'll have to adjust his shop for that. Attacking an enemy with an arrow basically causes the phantasm effect and causes another arrow to spawn and hit them. This one gives you mana back when you take damage. I mentioned that. This one just makes it so your mana regens passively, so you don't have to pick up mana stars. This one gives you a huge bonus to magic damage and a huge bonus to your mana cost. This one just reduces your mana cost, and this one makes it so you can pick up those stars from further away. So there's a lot of different things you can grab. You can only have 2 at a time, but they can pretty drastically affect how your game flows. And here, because we were fast, we got 2 life crystals. We got a weapon tiered to the next area, which is a pulse bow. And we also got some money, and that money gives us enough to buy something from the goblin here. So we're gonna buy what's a fun one? We could buy the Stalker's Quiver. This will make it so that anytime we hit an enemy with an arrow, a second arrow spawns and hits them, right? It's the phantasm thing. It works on our charged arrows, it works on our regular... Fuck, why did I sell the ale tosser? Oh, it would have been so nice. I thought it was a gamble, right? We needed a little bit of money. I guess I could have sold a healing potion. Alright, and now that we have our double jump, as you might have seen in the forest, we were able to go to an area that we couldn't access the first time through because we had that double jump. I'm actually going to take the platinum bow here. And similarly, we can get up here in the Crimson, and we can have another duel with a skeleton sniper. The builds look awesome. Amazing work to whoever made them. Yeah. These are... there were a lot of very, very talented people that made them. And that timed speed thing is not limited to the first chest. If we go through and kill the Brain of Cthulhu quickly, I'll just go ahead and keep walking to get there. We can get one in the next area, and the Goblin will still be there. We'll still have money. We'll get a weapon tiered up to the next area. And it really just helps you not have to sit here and just loot every single area fully to avoid falling behind, right? It rewards you for playing quickly. One thing you might also notice is that the Brain of Cthulhu's attacks here are synchronized to the music beats. We can drink our Wrath Potion, get a damage increase. And if we wanted, we could do this, generate a bunch of Mana Stars. This reduces our cooldown quite a lot. You can imagine this would be really, really good with, like, the Magic Power Potion, right? It's got a 100-second cooldown, but if you can shortcut that drastically by doing that, then you're in a much better position. Does the music pause if you pause the game? Unfortunately not. If you pause the game, the music keeps going, which does kind of ruin that, but it's also kind of hard to do that. And yeah, he's still here, and we got here within 6 minutes, so we can get here. This time we get a Venom Staff. This one, oh, it's a Venom Staff, so you can imagine. And yeah, we could do all sorts of things to try to flesh out our build here. I think that's all I'm going to show off for this stream today. It was kind of just, you know, showcasing what's here. If you'd like to play this, you can join my Discord server and go to the TerraCells channel. There's a pinned message with a link to the GitHub and instructions on how to play it. How many bosses are in the current build? I've shown all the bosses in the current build. I've shown a lot of the content that we have in the current build. Largely because I know these maps in this very well, and I can do it very consistently and easily without dying. But there is a lot of stuff that I haven't shown. I've basically not interacted with any of the secrets or unlocks. I haven't shown off a lot of the, you know, synergies with things. And it's not easy. Like, a lot of people, when they'll start playing it, will get their ass kicked by a lot of these enemies, because it plays very differently to Terraria. You have to focus on what enemies are doing. You have to pay attention on when you need to dodge their attacks. The risk-reward analysis is different when you don't regenerate HP. And there's a lot of different stuff you can do. I suggest playing it, and we're going to keep adding stuff to it, adding content. We have a lot more bosses planned, a lot more levels planned. There are a couple levels that I didn't show. They are secret levels, so to speak. But yeah, I think it's something we've been working on for a while, and I think it's finally in a point where I'm comfortable, you know, letting a large group of people play it. And hopefully, we can keep adding it and make it even better. But yeah. Yeah, go join the Discord server if you'd like to play it. Bye, everyone.